Good morning. On the 14th this morning, heading up to a little casino I keep hearing about called Diamond Gems. Thought it'd be fun to head up on a little mini road trip, get out of LA. It's about an hour north of me, passing Agua Dulce Canyon Road right now, where they shoot lots of cowboy movies. That's actually where I shot a cowboy commercial once, a few moons back. All right, here it is. Here's me, a cowboy commercial, eating a hamburger.
Gotta say, Hank, these burgers sure taste darn juicy and flame grilled.
No, you never guessed come from a microwave.
What's in my...
Ballpark flame grilled patties. Juicy. Straight from your microwave.
That's fun. What was I saying? Oh, Diamond Gems, mini road trip, good action. I hear it's fun. Let's do it. Well, not the most glamorous place. Okay, about 100 degrees out. Continuing to lower my expectations at this point. Good morning. What? I think Sunday wants to say hi. Come here, Sunday.
Oh, Sunday.
Sunday. Well, say, I love poker. You look like the saddest dog in the world. Good morning. Cheers. Coffee. Coffee. What's Sunday? What? Now you want to say hi? No. Okay, before we get into this firsthand, where I come out swinging, by the way, we need to talk about the session in general. It seems I was suffering from winner's tilt. I'm sure you know what that is, but for some reason, if you don't, winner's tilt is what happens after you've won a few sessions in a row, and now you think you are the greatest player since Doyle Brunson, Phil Ivey, Brad Owen. I don't know, I'm trying to update my references for the youngins out there. So I roll into town, this tiny little joint some 60 odd miles north of Los Angeles. I'm this big shot LA poker player, and I'm ready to show the locals a thing or two about how we do things in the big city. No. Bad, Marty. Anywho, I feel like it affected pretty much all of my hands and decisions, and not always in the best way. Let's get into it. Okay, so this first hand here, which might have been my very first hand, actually. I'm not... Oh, by the way, my notes for the session are a little suspect. Please don't judge me too harshly. I am doing my best. Hard to keep perfect notes while you're repeatedly being spanked. Hang on. Okay, so in the first hand, I pick up King 10 after I put the straddle on. There are 3 or 4, 5, 4 callers before it gets to me. I raise it up to 28. I actually like this play. Trying to steal all the dead money. Hard to believe anyone is too strong after the limp fest we just witnessed. I get called in 2 spots, and we see the flop. Over $100 in the pot. Flop comes jack high. Nothing for me. But when the small blind checks, kind of look at the 2 players remaining, and I see their stacks are around 30 or 40. And at this point, even though I've got nothing, I've really got no choice but to shove it all in, which I do. I get called in 1 spot from the player across the way. I turn over my hand. No help on the turn, no help on the river. She takes down the pot with her jack 9 after flopping top pair weak kicker. For a little 1-2 game, this is a $150, $160 pot to start the session. Definitely one that you would like to win. But I don't mind the way I played this hand. Moving on. Next hand. About an orbit later, I pick up ace-2 suited in one of the blinds. There are a couple of limpers, then the cutoff makes it 10. I call. 10? 2 more callers, 4 of us are going to see the flop. And I know, a bunch of aggressive pros love to 3-bet with their small suited aces, especially out of the blinds. We could probably dedicate an entire vlog to breaking down that one move. Suffice it to say that I have experimented in calling and raising with suited aces in the blinds. And for me, I like calling in the smaller games with the small suited aces. I'm looking to make the nut flush maybe get super lucky, get that 2 pair, and I actually want multiple opponents when that happens. Okay, flop comes 9-7-3 with 2 diamonds. I check out the blinds. There's one more check, and the initial raiser bets 10. There's a fold, and then it's back to me. This is the first real decision point in the hand. Should I check raise here? I feel if I check raise, my hand will look exactly like what it is. Big fat draw. So I just call. It's now heads up. We go to the turn. The turn doesn't change anything, and I glance over at my opponent's stack, and this is when I realize how poorly I've played this hand. He only has $14 left. I mean, the key to playing draws is getting paid off when you hit. I didn't bother taking the stack size of my opponent before I acted on the turn. That's a major dummy head move there. It's the EV. It's the expected value after we make our draws that makes them worth playing. We need to hit the flush, and then we need to get the other guy to commit his stack with his top pair hands, giving him the chance to make a big mistake. Fine. Noted. I call his small all in. I miss the river. I lose. Let's buy in again, shall we?
I'll check it.
What up, little one? How you been?
In this hand, I pick up 9-7 of hearts in the small blind. There are a few limpers when the button decides to pounce on it and raise it up to 4. That's right. He min clicks it with a whole bunch of limpers in front of him, setting a great price for me in the small blind with my 9-7-1 gapper suited. I make the call, as do almost everybody else, and 6 of us are going to see the flop. Flop comes down Jack 5-7 with 2 hearts. I really don't mind this at all. I see no reason to lead out. I check. It gets checked back around to the button who bets 19. Now we have the classic do I raise or do I call dilemma. The problem with raising here is that he comes back and he shoves. I'm not getting the right price to call and try to hit my draw. It's like what we already talked about. You want to make your hands when you're drawing with a lot of players, then get them to make a mistake, commit, and start piling in the money. So I just call. We have one more caller, which brings us to the turn, and that is a delightful 7. It's always nice when you're going for a flush and you back into trips. This to me is an easy check. Continue to set the trap. A new player decides he's going to go all in for $53, and the button gets out of the way. I make an easy call, which brings us to the river, which thankfully does not put a heart on the board.
Thank goodness no heart.
And you would have beat me. You would have beat me at the end.
Heart would have been bad.
And he already had it. I'm gonna do money. Right?
Okay, I managed to win a few while losing a few. My stack goes up, my stack goes down, but I never really build any momentum. Then I lose about 80 with ace-5 clubs on a 5-high board. That was a delight. Then I lose about 100 with king-queen on a queen-high flop when the other player turns over ace-queen on the river. A bit of a rough session, but that's okay. That's okay. You know why? I'm going to pick up ace-king. So I get ace-king after the player on my right goes all in blind for about $50. I've got about 150. I just call. And boy, do I hate this move. This is really a classic case of needing to isolate the all-in player. He's on tilt. He's only got $50. He goes all in blind. I really should have shoved it all in here, right? But I don't. I call, and then the player on my left calls, and then the aggressive player on the button shoves his stack all in. I call. Player on my left calls. We have this 4-way all-in freaking mess. I'll let Marty from 4 days ago wrap it up for you.
Holy fucking shit. It's hot out, first off. That was insane. Yeah, I somehow managed to, after a couple of hours of crazy freaking poker, get into a 4-way all-in with ace-king versus jack-3, 8-9, and ace-3. And I bet you can guess how this turns out. The jack-3 took the main, the 8-9 took the side. It was about a $500 or $600 pot in a 1-2 game. Insanity.